Hey, I'm building my business in public, and this is a daily video series that shows you exactly how I make 500 grand a year in profit in my consulting business and how I'm taking it to hopefully 2 million a year. The video series here follows the exact same structure every single day. I start by answering some questions, meaning that on this channel right here, you can head down into the comment section and then you can ask me a question just like Espen, Jeremy, Hamad, Jack has done, and then I'll answer your question in tomorrow's video. Then I'll run you through some business stats. I'll show you the growth of all my socials and also how much money the business is doing. Then last but not least, I'm doing some live strategy on how I'm planning to take this thing to 2 million a year. I've already taken one of my coaching businesses to 2 million a year, my very first one, 2 years ago. But I did it with 14 full-time employees, a low profit and a business partner, and now I'm doing it vastly different. So excited to have you. We dive right into questions right here. So I find a comment that I haven't interacted with, for example, Espen right here. Then I read the question out loud and then I'll answer it. He says, thanks for the answer, it helped a lot. For more context, we don't use Advantage Plus for any campaigns, so we can manually see what ad the money goes to. And they both have high margins, the offers, I assume. So good to hear, no Advantage Plus. I don't use it either. And your offers has high margins, sounds good. And then you take 25% profit. Same as my agency, we just take 30% profit. Some more context here. For the business mentor, where we see most increase in cost per follower, she helps local cake makers in the UK 2x their current revenue. It's a very specific ICP. We have spent in total 3.6k in the UK since February, gotten 500,000 impressions with a frequency of 2.2. Last 30 days is 120 grand with 1.8 frequency. All this top of funnel ads, by the way. Do you have a ceiling for frequency? I think compared to how little you're spending and how high your frequency is in top of funnel, remember people, top of funnel is like typically the first impression that you make with people. So it's like in the very top of the awareness stage. And it makes good sense when the offer is teaching cake businesses how to double their revenue, which is a very cool offer, but a very low TAM, total addressable market, right? For frequency, I like to have my frequency around 5 to 7 in retargeting on a 30-day basis because it's you consistently showing up in front of your audience. So typically it's like, depending on your organic follower size, it's typically like 20% of your ad spend that will give you that frequency, depending on how many impressions you get, right? But around so. And then for top of funnel, it should just be like 1.3, 1.2, literally. Like top of funnel is just like people seeing you and stumbling upon you, right? And then hopefully taking the next steps. So I think, I guess for this means we need to test a new market somewhere else. Yeah, or I would remember, boys, like you can also broaden your messaging of the ad, right? So like if you speak to existing cake owners, it's probably something like in here, right? So like existing cake businesses. I don't know if her offer can like educate other like businesses that sell somewhat like maybe not cakes but like something else like bakeries or whatever. Maybe you can like expand the market with the same offer or make a more, let's say, uneducated call out of like, did you know this is possible? Or like try to educate the audience a little bit more instead of saying cake businesses, do you have this problem? Because then you only communicate to problem aware people. But again, it will also change the sales cycle, but I would say that it's worth it. But I would say it's a very small market. But I think the different ad creatives and these call outs would help you out and then trying to broaden up the offer a little bit for sure. Guess this means we need to test a new market somewhere else. In the UK, we pay £62 per call booked and used to pay only £24 when she did peak months in April, May and June, where she got 3 to 5 clients a month. She sells a 3-month, £3,000 offer, and we can serve many clients at once. That's great. I think pretty healthy cost per call. Again, I don't really care about cost per call only in relation to cost per acquisition, meaning that what do we pay for a client and how many calls does it take us to get a client. Sometimes a low cost per call is like a smoke screen of a bad, like then the show up rate is low and then the close rate is low. So like, but it seems like you have a pretty healthy ROAS, boys. It's just for moving forward. So like understanding those numbers. But yeah, I would probably, no US calls booked. I would say like when you test a new market, you take the cost per acquisition. So the cost and the price that you pay for a new customer in current market and then you 3x that number, and that's how much money you need to spend in a new market to kind of like realize if there's fit or not. Unless because a lower spend than that is not serious. Don't get me wrong, boys, but you need time in market, you need consistency, especially in a market from like UK to US, because like even though they're both native speaking English countries, the cultures are vastly different. So maybe talk to her about broadening up elsewhere. But I like the thought process. I would try to like broaden out the offer in the UK first because of her accent and like service and also delivery. Time zones in the US are also a pain in the ass, especially if she does one-on-one. So there's something there too. But yeah, I would try to focus on UK first and then opening up US, and then I would focus on UK by broadening the communication and seeing if you can take the offer and then like change a little bit things so she can serve more people. And yeah, but it's a very small market, so yeah. Sometimes you also have to kill your darlings. Like some clients, they just have a ceiling of like, this is how much they can make and pay you, and everyone is happy. It's very hard to force growth into a business that cannot handle it when you look at total addressable market and like the initiatives that you're doing. The hard part about being a growth agency like you boys is that your hours can generate you exponential returns in some cases with the same knowledge, same system, and then it can ruin you in the wrong cases with like too many hours spent. So just keep that in mind. I hope it makes sense, boys. But we take the next question from Jeremy. All right, long one, but hey, cool. Fred, I've been taking a whole lot of notes on your response to my question the other day. Great stuff, brother. It's given me lots of confidence on this journey. That's good. The questions I asked before were very mindset heavy, which I needed. Now I'd love to jump into the tactical side. Yes. Yesterday you asked about cash reserves and being able to dedicate 3 to 6 months to starting fresh with my offer. Right now I have 2 clients paying me monthly to run paid ads that came through my closed network. Those cover my bills, so I have the ability to experiment with my offer without being desperate for cash. That is key. Very good to hear. Very, very good. That's just how it is in business, people. It's that like in order to achieve the long-term goals that you have to do some short-term sacrifices, meaning that you might not work with the dream clients and a dream service that you got in a dream way, but the short-term activities that you do fuels and allows you to do all of the great things that you want, which is just how it is. And it's just being mature about it. So I love Jeremy's thought process here. I really like the way that you've built your acquisition around your content and chat, and I'd love to build something similar. I too dislike sales calls. DM setting felt pushy. I'd want it to be where if someone wants to buy from me, they can just find my link or keyword and buy the thing. I want to keep it simple and tight-knit for a specific type of person only. Great, brother. And always remember that the way that you feel about things, brother, there are many people out there that resonate with it too. So like I was also scared about going without sales calls, because sales calls for me was a safe way of spending one-to-one time with my dream customer. I could steer the conversation, I could tailor my product and offer for their needs, and I had a way higher chance of closing them, equivalent to me making money and feeling secure and stable about my revenue, business, and goals. Oh my God. I almost passed out in the middle of the daily update. But what I realized here, Jeremy, is that I was protecting and I was taking my beliefs, right? And it was holding me back. So when I started saying no sales calls, I attracted clients who also didn't like sales calls. And then I led by example and showed how to acquire clients with content, offer documents, newsletter, a menu card, DM conversations. And these clients followed along too. So because I had the guts to share my truth, these people followed along. And you will experience the same thing, brother, because it's so true to you, right? And you shouldn't say, I don't like sales calls. Tell the story, brother, of where you sat in your coaching business making 30 grand a month. Everything looked good on paper. But every morning you woke up, you just looked at your calendar and you just dreaded seeing 4 random names on your calendar, knowing that one of them would probably buy, but you would have to get through 4 hours of objection handling and explaining. And it was just 4 hours you could have spent on creating YouTube videos, working with clients, writing copy, coming up with ideas that would benefit everyone, right? So I think really paint the picture, because that is what makes you relatable Because like if you just say, hey, I don't like sales calls, so I sell without them. A lot of people will default you to like, oh, he's lazy, he doesn't want to do the work. So you have to give the context here, brother. Okay, and you'll attract clients who want the same, which is really cool. So a few specific things I love your take on. ICP, I'm currently thinking coaches who are at zero and want to get to 10 to 20 grand a month selling their skill set online. Would you target beginners, more established coaches, or somewhere in the middle? I used to sell a 6.8K 4-month program. Would you keep that price and timeline or structure it differently for this market? I think coaches who are at zero, I'll give you some pros and cons here, right? Coaches who are at zero are not that sophisticated, meaning people that has less experience and it's maybe their first or second time, third time transacting in the market, usually needs more reassurance and hand-holding. And does this work for me? Because I'm insecure, I haven't made money online before and invested in myself, especially not high ticket. So it can be hard to go salesless and sell without calls for a person that is completely from scratch. And I would also say, brother, that you have a skill set that will allow you to work with this group of people and then get them to where you were, which were at like 40 grand a month. And also remember, bro, that for many of these people, yes, 40 grand a month would be cool, but if they could stay at the same income level, just with, let's say, higher profit and less time spent on sales calls, better inbound leads through a content ecosystem, and like less money spent on setters, blah, 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 that is actually also a good offer, because ultimately their business gets better, both financially, but also in terms of enjoyment. So I think I wouldn't, if I were you, brother, I would keep things broad. I would keep it open. I would be open-minded to different kind of people. I know it can be hard to create content that both speaks to a beginner and speaks to a guy doing 20 grand a month, but I would just anchor everything in your content in things you believe to be true and things that you do. And then you'll notice that you'll work with vastly different people. You know, I have a client that does $1 million a month, and I have a client that does 5 grand a month. I don't put people in revenue boxes saying, oh, if you have to make 10K to work with me. I've realized that everything in this space is just about the person, their work ethic, their current situation, what they would like to achieve, and what they're willing to do in order to get there. And the fact that they're a good person and I like to talk to them, then I'm more than happy. So I wouldn't box myself too much there, brother. Because the cool part about you selling one-to-one is that it will apply to many people. And then once you've gotten in the first like 5 to 10 people, then you can pattern recognition in terms of what kind of people did you really like working with. So if I were starting, let's take pricing first. I think pricing obviously also depends a little bit on who you're working with. But the cool thing about, like, a lot of people say that beginners don't have funds. That's not true. I did 2 million US in revenue selling a 7.5K program to beginners. People have the money if they want to find it, and a beginner in one field doesn't mean they're a beginner in life or business in general. So like, I wouldn't financially box people. I think that's a myth in this space that a lot of people, is a double-edged sword. I personally like the 4-month thing. My one-to-one offer was 9.5K for 4 months, where I spoke to people every 14 days, a one-to-one Slack channel and a community. It worked super well. External business partner was kind of like the positioning 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago almost now, when I started the one-to-one offer. And I like the 4 months because I think 6 is too long for renewing and continuing and setting goals. But 2-3 months is too short. My personal favorites are 4 months or 12 months programs. So either a sprint, typically a sprint phase inside of a long-term commitment. That's how I do it now. But I would probably keep that, brother, if you're happy about it. Again, what are your goals? If it's 30 grand a month, then you need 4 of these, right? And to work one-on-one with them. Of course, you do it for 4 months. So like at its highest peak, you'd have 16 people, 2 calls per person, right? It's like 32 calls, meaning like 8 calls a week, which would be pretty fine. It will also allow you to have energy and time for content and some group calls. So I think I would do this, brother, and then I would, let's say, only do 10 spots in total for the backbone of working with Jeremy one-to-one. Some early bird anchoring there. Now I'm just thinking out loud. Acquisition. If you were starting from zero today, what would your IG and YouTube strategy look like to consistently generate clients through content, chat, and doc? Exactly like me, brother, probably. I would post every day on Instagram because, like, right now, brother, what you have a lot of is time. So that is your biggest leverage, that you can get a lot of time and a lot of doing. So I wouldn't worry too much about high quality, high effort videographer, high editing. I think that would only slow your process down, and you're a well articulated guy. So I would really just ramp it out on Instagram because you already have an existing foundation. I would be very crystal clear about the rebranding and who you help, and your story. So like really let people know what it is that you went through. I did a YouTube video that was kind of like the pivotal kind of like video of letting people know, hey, this is what I'm doing now, just to make sure that people knew exactly what they could expect. So it was here, you know, so why I quit my big business.
And the way that I see
reflective personal video. And then I posted that video, and then I had like 4 months of not really posting anything because I focused on Instagram and conversion and DMs and talking to people and filling up my client spots. And then basically in between this video to this video and to this video, there's like 4 months here. And I posted this video, and then 2 weeks later this one. And it was everything that I learned in the 4 months of working with these people one-on-one after posting this video. So like I got a really good case study from this guy and was like, my shit works, you know, like this is incredible. And like, I want to package this into my coffee shop universe because I was just like creative, free flowing, finally free of that first business. And like, this is really cool, you know? So that's how it came about. So I would say, brother, like let people know that you've rebranded. You can do it on Instagram, you can do it on YouTube, new route, new chapter. Here's what people can expect moving forward. And then spend a lot of time with your clients and learnings and storytelling and really telling people what you're doing. And then create these pivotal like content pieces. You know, this one also came, like these 3 videos was done in the same villa in Bali. It was just like a case study, how I do it myself. So like it works for others too. And then like, this is what I believe to be true, you know, bam. Probably the 3 videos that has made me the most amount of money and gotten me, most importantly, the greatest fucking clients of all time, brother. So yeah, that's what I would focus on. Path to 30 grand a month. Fill these 10 spots, brother, of people working one-on-one with you. Very intimate, external business partner. Do everything that you can to work with these people. And then I would post as much genuine content that feels true to you as possible. Post every day on Instagram Reels, post stories, do YouTube videos. Just put yourself out there. And see what works. The cool thing about organic is that you can test so many things for free, right? So that's what I would do, brother, if I were you, 100%. Yeah. And I think I send people to my newsletter, bro. What you want to send people to is DMs. And not in a way where you have to like reach out to them or set them or anything, but just like, don't let your past experience of like pushy DMs with setting and blah, 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 ruin the experience of like send a voice note to a person that you could genuinely help and have a good conversation. Like don't let your past experience ruin it, because in order to convert people fast, brother, you need to give them personalization, right? My sales cycle is long because it's one to many. It's up to my individual viewer to watch daily updates, to watch YouTube, to read my newsletter and then take action. Whereas most of my clients still do DMs with people. Even invite them for a call where of like some of my clients, they have like 80-90% close rate, which sounds like, oh, magic pill. No, because they do 1 to 2 calls per week with like incredibly hot leads that just needs final bit of reassurance, move forward. And it's basically just like swipe their credit card. But again, what season are you in? What are you pursuing? What is the goals? What is the short term? What is the long term goal, right? So that's what I would do, brother, if I were you. That's what I would do. And just like tell people what you are doing, brother. Your ICP will show up naturally. It sounds very fluffy, but like the second you double down on who you are and what you believe to be true, brother, and what you're doing in your own business, dream clients are just gonna pop up. Because what like dream clients, the way that you want to see it is that they don't engage or like your content or like everyone else over here. Dream client stands here. And then when they see someone worth following and someone that has the map, someone that is walking the path in real time, someone that has the business that they want, they don't like, they don't comment, they don't ask for a call, they just pop up and like, hey, Jeremy, I fuck with your journey, brother. I like what you told me about sales calls and how you dreaded that calendar, and like, I feel you so much. I would love to work with you. And it sounds fluffy, but that's what happens. And again, people, Jeremy has a really good skill set, and he's been in the game. He's done these things. He can do it. It's his skill set that allows him to take this journey. All right. So like, focus on skill set first. So hopefully it made sense, Jeremy. I love your questions. Please keep them coming if you have them. We're 20 minutes in, and I have a call in 8 minutes, so we'll run some business stats here, business as usual. So the daily updates channel is at 676, right? Where is it now? There it is. Let me actually just like make a new day here. Beautiful. Main YouTube channel, let us see. 9252. My Instagram is currently on 26509. My newsletter is currently sitting on 1417. And yesterday the business did 10,000 Danish, which is 1550. Beautiful. That's it, people. Jeremy's question is my strategy today, because now we're above the 20-minute mark, which I've promised myself to keep these videos about, and I have a one-on-one call with a client here in a few minutes. So thank you so much for watching, people. Ask any questions you might have, and we'll see each other tomorrow.